Okay, so let's get into my story quick. I'll try to run through it fast, but
Okay.
it's pretty funny. I mean, it's not funny. It was one of the darkest days of my life. I think it is probably part of the reason just the way I kind of lashed out around 12, and then I became like a bad kid. I was the black sheep of the family, only one to ever get arrested. I was in school, and school had just started because in New York, school starts September
Right.
9th, I think it started, and then
Right.
this is probably like my second or third day of school, and I was in French class when my French teacher got a phone call in the middle class, and she went over and she answered it. She freaked out. She was like absolutely broke down on the phone. Then she hangs up the phone, and I guess because she had to keep the class calm, like they don't want to let people panic mode and people start killing each other. She comes right back to class and she's just like, okay, kids, everything's fine. Parlez-vous français or whatever. And at this point, we don't care what's going on because we're like, what the hell just happened on that phone call?
Besides, the French weren't going to help us either.
Yeah. I didn't learn a single word of French after this. I didn't trust this woman ever again. She was like, okay, everything's fine, but Timmy and Mike and Anthony, you guys have to go home. Your parents are here to pick you up. 5 minutes goes by and then another phone call. And then another 10 kids are taken out of class. And everybody's parents are showing up to pick them up because New York City is under attack. And we don't know if a nuke is about to hit us. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like somebody will come pick me up soon too. Now I make it to third period, fourth period. Now there's like 20% of the school is left, maybe 10% of the school. It's just me and a few other kids, and we're in lunch. These kids, they start hearing rumors and they start like spreading like gossip about what's going on. Because we had no TVs, no cell phones, no nothing, so nobody knew anything in school. And they tried to, not let the kids know what was going on. These kids heard that New York City was under attack and they blew up the World Trade Center. And I'm like, knowing in my head that you went to work that day, but also like in my head, I'm like, okay, my mom might be dead, but I need to, not let these kids see me be weak. So I'm like, you sure? And they blew up the World Trade Center, and I'm like panicked, but also, just trying to keep it cool. And then sure enough, he shows up. This is the first time I've ever seen like uncertainty in his face when like I asked if he had known anything about you. And normally he's always like, yeah, whatever, everything's gonna be fine. You're gonna kill the dog. It's too old. It just happens. This is life. And this is the first time I ever saw him be like, all right, just pray to God. Just pray, say your prayers.
I didn't know. And I didn't know how to respond to you. I didn't want to say, everything was going to be just fine and dandy. I know your mother's safe, because we didn't know.
All these other kids had left school already and they had no attachment. I doubt all of them had parents that were in the actual tower. So if anybody should have been taken out of school, it should have been me to go home and find out what was going on. But you were a bus driver. I won't say bus driver. You worked at the bus depot and you work nights and you were asleep while all this stuff happened and you had no idea what was going on. So
Okay, but let me now tell my
Okay,
story.
yeah, we'll get into your story.
So after I made sure you guys got off to school, I used to go to sleep. I worked from 11 at night to 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
You guys went to school and I went to sleep. So this particular morning, the phone starts ringing and I wouldn't answer it.
Same
let
thing
it
I
ring.
do. Yeah, when these guys
Yeah.
call me after hours, I'm done. I'm done with work. I don't want to hear anything. Phone's on.
But this is my time to sleep. So
Mhm.
it's probably a solicitor. I'm not answering.
Yeah.
The doorbell starts ringing. And I'm like, what is it today that I'm trying to sleep here.
Yeah.
So finally, the doorbell rings again. And I get up and it's on neighbor Glenna. And she says, turn on the TV. And when I turned on the TV, there it was, the burning Trade Center. That's how I found out.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep through the whole thing. I was actually awake before the building came down.
So you didn't think about coming to maybe get me from school?
Hell no, you were safe in school. I was concerned about your mother.
He was
Yeah.
like,
No,
you know,
no
that
shit.
was-
So was I. I was getting
that
told in school by the two kids that were left, they blew up all in New York City. Everyone's dead. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. That's cool. Whatever. I don't care.
I take back everything I said about you from then on.
This was a traumatizing moment. I was certain they had blown up the towers. They blew up the building that I knew my mom went to work. That day, I had seen her leave that morning. I've been through some scary moments, but that was probably the scariest.
Can I tell you from your brother's perspective?
We'll get into that. So you find out, you put on the TV, and then what's your immediate thought?
Well, I got a phone call from my niece, whose husband was Port Authority detective, and he was on the 80th floor of the building,
His office.
his office. But he luckily was, getting coffee, downstairs.
But when you turn on the TV, now this was just when the planes had hit the building. They hadn't fallen down yet.
Right.
Okay, so when you saw the building fall down, I'm sure then you went a little nuts.
Like I said, my niece called and she was screaming and she says, I spoke to John and he's okay, but, like, why are you so calm? 'Cause there was absolutely nothing I can do. You couldn't go there, to the...
Nerf just
did,
ripped
yeah,
one bad. Yeah. Oh man, that's horrible.
That's another
I can't even
reason
focus on this.
why we should take him to the vet.
Oh damn, that one is bad. That one's rancid. Okay, try to get through it. It's just
Like she was panicked and she's saying, how are you calm?
I take it back. This is now the worst moment of my life, having to breathe in this stinking dog's asshole. That's a terrible. That's lingering. I can't even continue. Like,
It is kind of
yeah,
rancid.
just share it out. You see, you love those fart jokes. That's the one thing that we don't see eye to eye on, these fart jokes. I don't think farts are that funny.
No.
These guys have a good laugh every time I rip one by accident when I'm peeing in the bathroom or something.
Nah, there's nothing funnier than a fart.
We grew up on different shows. You grew up on Three Stooges. I do comedy for a living, I guess, technically. So go ahead before I interrupt. So you get the call.
She was hysterical and she had spoken to her husband and he was alive. Me, I didn't know whether your mom was alive and I was calm. There was nothing I could do.
Also, let me elaborate. You guys are married for 40 years and you're happily married, right?
Yes.
Because some people in marriages would be like, "Oh, thank God,"
No.
But no, we both love my mother here, and we were worried that something had happened to her.
I was concerned, probably in shock.
And I
Wait,
couldn't call him.
And it's funny we waited 20 years to talk about this moment. We never got into it. It's weird, and now we do it on camera and sell it, milk it.
No, we've talked about it.
We,
But
we talk
not
about it a
like
little
this,
bit, but
in
we
depth.
don't get too into detail
Right.
because we don't like to get emotional. I would be struck when I was a kid if I got emotional.
So now there was a few minutes where I was left alone in the house. There was this laundry basket at the top of the stairs. Your mother had done the laundry the night before. And on top of the pile of folded laundry was her nightgown. And she had a medal of Mary, the mother of Jesus. And she used to pray the rosary all the time. And I looked at that medal on her nightgown. And I knew that one way or another, things were going to be all right, whether she made it out or not. We went to church, confession, we received communion on Sunday. We were in good grace with God. The medal was there. And I said, if I don't see her tonight, I will see her again some other time.
Dad, everyone's going to think you're big softy over here. You're almost making me tear up.
This is probably the first time that I told that story where I didn't actually cry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm getting emotional over it, but I don't want to lose my street cred here. I'm going to try to make it through this whole episode without, or this podcast, without crying on camera. I'm done. I cry at night. I'm done with that.